Well, the thoughts and ideas that shaped my road to becoming a vegan was really grabbing a hold of the teachings of Dr. Sebi. And I learned that from a mentor of mine because I never thought it was possible. Like, I didn't think that veganism or, plant-based lifestyle was a black people thing. I never knew that, like there were so many people, especially black people, that embrace that lifestyle. So my road to basically joining or becoming a part of that lifestyle, or basically revisiting that lifestyle after I learned about it, was just learning of the health benefits. I remember learning that like that your body can pretty much heal itself if you're giving it the proper foods. And I always heard people say you are what you eat, and then you hear the term junk food. So like you feel bad about the foods that you're eating, but that still wasn't motivation enough for me to change. But as my health continued to decline with having being a borderline diabetic, cholesterol sky high, blood pressure sky high, I always had a goal of not being on medications. And when I made that decision to try the plant-based lifestyle or vegan lifestyle, I was on at that time on medication for diabetes. Making that switch, I mean, it took like maybe like 3 days into it to the eating change. I'll put it that way. That I couldn't even take that medication anymore. It was like one day I was walking around at work after I just taken the medication. I mean, really, literally, it was on day 3, and I couldn't see. I remember I couldn't see, and I was like, man, I think it's the medication, because I had just taken it maybe like 30 minutes before, and I was fine up until that point, feeling good, feeling energized. And so I just quit taking it. And I'm not, saying that for anybody to try that, but I'm just telling you my road to, becoming a vegan. And then, but what really led me to get onto the lifestyle was, it was a tough road. I will say that, because of in my mind I was thinking that I couldn't give up, like I said, chicken, ribs, burgers. I love pizza, especially from this one place in Arlington called the Broiler. Like, they had the best sausage and pepperoni pizza ever, and that was something that really played in my mind. Like, I'm like, I won't be able to go to the Broiler and get a pizza. Won't be able to go get a steak and cheese. Like, those are things like the people in this area, like, we typically eat. Like, those are like staple foods. Shrimp fried rice, like, those are like staple foods. And so just the thought of having to give that up, it was just too much to bear. But I was like, oh, I'm gonna try it. Maybe, not for a lifetime, but I'll try it for maybe 6 months. And then, dwindle that down to about 6 weeks. And dwindle that down to maybe I'll try it for 2 weeks. And then I think towards the end, when I finally decided to go ahead and do it, I think I was trying it for 3 days. But once I made it through day 1, I knew that I wasn't going back. Because I was just like, I made it through that day, and it was easy. I had plenty of food. I'm satisfied with my food, and it's just up from here. And it's really, literally, it's how I looked at it. It's just up from here. So that was my road to becoming a vegan. And actually, it wasn't even a desire to be vegan. It was more of being plant-based. That was really what I wanted to do. Not so much be vegan, because, vegans don't wear leather and stuff like that. And I was like, I just want to be healthy. Like, I'm not saying I don't care about anything else, or, other or animals or whatever, but it's like that really wasn't my goal. So I really can't say that I was vegan in a sense of, changing my life to not wearing, any leather or having like leather or anything or animal based products, but it was more so changing my lifestyle as far as what I ate. That was my goal. But I say vegan because I really didn't stick with the plant-based lifestyle either. I went to more of the foods that are labeled vegan. So, yeah. But that was my journey to becoming vegan. One of the primary benefits that I noticed was definitely getting off of the medication that I was on. And that was kind of a very fast thing. And I'm happy to say that, even though, I didn't go back to the doctors, and I don't recommend anybody doing it that way. But I just knew I wasn't going to walk around with blurry vision or feeling dizzy for any extended period of time beyond that day when it happened. So I didn't go back to the medication. I did communicate that with my doctor, but I didn't go back to it. So that was one of the benefits that I noticed. But then, of course, weight loss. That was definitely a major factor. And, my skin, just the appearance of it improved. There was like a glow, that you could just see like on the outside. So that was definitely a benefit. And then exploring so many different foods that I hadn't tried before, like kamut, we see spelt flour, definitely that, garbanzo bean flour, coconut flour. So, I was learning how to make, different breads from those things. I was eating like king oyster mushrooms or the portobello mushrooms and, frying those. So it kind of gave me a sense of, having, the fried chicken or the fried foods that I was normally used to, but it wasn't the same things. And I didn't feel the same way, even because I even changed the oils that I was cooking in. I was cooking in grapeseed oil. So everything, so as much familiarity as possible, but it was just plant-based. So once again, my head started to feel clear. I felt like I was sleeping better, and I didn't need as much sleep. I would get the sleep that I need, and then I'm up, I'm ready for the day. But then after eating too, not feeling sluggish. So I feel like all of those were benefits that that paid off for me. Well, I believe the things that made me a fat vegan was just it went from my food choices. Like I said, I started off as a plant-based vegan or just a plant-based lifestyle. And kind of got lazy, like I went from making my own milks, like, cracking open a coconut and shaving all the coconut out. And like I said, making my own milks from that, or making even walnut milk, different things like that, to just eating everything pre-packaged. And once you start getting into, they say this one is chicken, this one is beef, you just start eating all that stuff because it's very convenient. You don't have to really cook anything. You throw that in the oven for a little while and then it's done. It's ready to eat. So it wasn't a real concern for me to, continue doing basically the great things that I had been doing. Eating my beans and my lentils and my kale and my collard greens. Like I would have those things, but I wouldn't have as much of them. So they weren't the primary thing. It's like I went back to the processed meats as being like the main feature or the main attraction of my plate, instead of having the vegetables be the main attraction of my plate and just limiting the amount that I had of those processed foods. But I'm gonna have a list here of some things that I just started eating again. And so when I'm talking about being a fat vegan, like these are the things that I just started eating, like just without any discretion at all. And because what I realized from this is that you need to have discretion in whatever you do. You need to have a good balance. And like I was saying in the last video, if you didn't watch it, go back and watch it. But quantify moderation. Like I started eating these things just because they said it was vegan. And that wasn't helpful at all. Like I said, I was right back to 243 pounds. So I'm going to read some of these things off my list here. Okay. Oreos, Doritos, Hershey's chocolate syrup, the crescent rolls and Pop-Tarts. Love Nutter Butter cookies. So I was eating those too. But even the like cherry pies, like the Hostess cherry pies, those are really good. Bagels and pretzels, Pringles, Cracker Jacks. Let me see here. Fudge brownies, all kinds of chips. Like I love chips. Like I said, I love the chili cheese Fritos, but I love the plain Lay's as well. So just eating those because it was vegan, Airhead. So basically that just takes me back to candy, not stuff like Skittles and was it Starburst? Not stuff like that, because those like have pork in them. But I don't eat those. But otherwise, if it was candy, I was eating it. Tater tots. If I didn't say French fries, definitely French fries in abundance. If I'm saying it again, that's how many French fries I was eating. So even one time, one of my sisters called me and she was like, "You still eating all those French fries?" I mean, I wasn't eating as much at that time, but it was still more than anybody need to eat. So I said, no, I'm not eating as much. But it was too many. It was too many. But you know, like a lot of restaurants you go to, like that was the only vegan option. Or I don't like cold food really. So like having a salad at a restaurant, like no, that's not enjoyable to me. It's like I still have to feel like some comfort from my food, from eating my food, like that warmth of the food, and eating a cold salad. No, it's not gonna get it done for me. Like that's a waste of a eating opportunity for me. So yeah, definitely, those were the things that contributed to me being what I call a fat vegan. At this time, no, I'm not a vegan, not living plant-based lifestyle. I am eating a vegetarian lifestyle. It's just the thought of eating meat is just, no, I can't do it. And even, you know, I do eat eggs, and even that, the eggs have to be cooked like so super hard. Like, I don't even think a regular person or a normal person would like their eggs the way I eat my eggs. But no, I can't just go eat meat ever. Like no. But right now, I'm currently, like I said, I'm currently vegetarian. Someday, it is in my thoughts to go back to that plant-based lifestyle because I mean, like I said, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the peace of mind. It's like, you know, my thoughts weren't always racing. I felt a sense of peace that I don't have all the time now. But even with that, still, my thing that I know that I have to do for myself to not put on all that weight again is make sure that whatever I'm eating, that is always in moderation. And I'm noticing too, or I have noticed that when you eat, you know, your fruits and your vegetables, you can basically eat a little more of those. You'll see that your plate will fill up more with eating those for the same number of calories that you would eat something that basically is nutritionally, you know, like experiencing a nutritional deficit because I guess those foods just aren't, you know, good for you. They aren't healthy for you. It's just something basically to occupy your mind, but it's not, you know, good for your body. And you'll see that it'll be a small something, and then you can fill your whole plate up with like collard greens or kale. I like cauliflower too, like broccoli too, green beans, like all those kind of things. Like you can eat a lot of those for just a little bit of calories. So it's easy to kind of balance that out and, you know, have your moderation, even with those things, even with your fruit, still gonna need some moderation in there. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. My groceries for the week. Pretty much eat the same thing every day, so I don't have to buy a large variety of things. And restrict the calories, so don't need that much. Got my Chosen Foods avocado oil spray here. Take a look at that. Got 0 calories.